Today we're talking about worldview and world building. Today we're just going to use a worldview framework from apologetics. The first level that we need to consider is the ontology level. So in the ontology level, you as the creator of this speculative world need to know how the world actually works, how your world was actually made, and what is the fundamental reality of your world. And to do that, we ask and answer 4 questions. And the first one is origin. Where or from what did everything in your world come? Your origin could be that all of the things in your world always existed, and that some outside power actually entered that world and then ordered it. You could say, no, we're gonna make it similar to the way that Tolkien made Lord of the Rings or Lewis made Narnia, where you have a figure, a god figure, who is singing the world into existence. The idea of origin automatically will bleed into other things. So the second question that you have to ask is meaning. What does it mean? What is the purpose? What is the aim? What is the telos? Teleology is the study of aims and purposes. So if your world has a particular type of origin, especially if it has an origin that is a designed origin, then the world must have a meaning, a purpose, a direction. And for you, this is where you go, hey, I have a theme, or I have a concept, or I have a particular message that I am trying to get across in my story. Then your purpose of your world might actually just be the theme that you are trying to build to. And you can then start to think about crafting your world in such a way as to make real and to make evident the fact that the whole world is designed for this purpose. And I mean, the best storyteller ever is God himself, and that's what God does in the world that he has made. Everything that he made in creation points us towards Christ. Now, we live in a fallen creation, so we see areas that are broken, and we see decay, and we see death, and we see problems, but every single aspect of the creation points towards the gospel. This is why pastors can use analogies from nature and from what is created and what has been made so readily to teach us about the gospel, because God made all of these things to teach us about the gospel. Right? Romans 1 talks about how man is without excuse because God's eternal power is understood from what has been made. That's what God has done, and while you're making your own story, if you have themes, if you have an overarching narrative, you should be matching your world to those themes and those overarching narratives. Third is morality. What is right and wrong in your world? This is about what is the moral code of the universe that you are talking about. We have a deity that made the world, that God has made rules. Those laws are moral laws. That's not just a matter of authority structures within humans. That's authority structures and morality that is baked into the universe. So you need to think about what are the moral structures underpinning your universe. And I recommend using the moral structures of Scripture and the moral structures of God. But there are texts out there, there are people who are using different moral structures. So the Wheel of Time series is built around the whole moral structure of the karmic cycle. The fourth question is destiny. Where are people going? Origin and destiny are cyclic. Origin, meaning, and destiny map really well to the whole character, goal, and obstacle. Your character has a starting point, and they have a goal that they want to get to, and they have obstacles in the middle, and what gives that goal meaning is largely the obstacles. So when you're building a world, you need to make sure all of these things match up. Destiny is this aspect of where are you going, and like I said, it does tie to the notion of your origin, because where you came from largely dictates or decides or directs where you're trying to go. And in my other video, which I'll put here too, on cooperative relationships, I talk about Tolkien and Samwise Gamgee and the Shire. The Shire is both origin and destiny for Samwise Gamgee. Consider, what is the destiny of your characters? Is the destiny of your characters happily ever after? That's a kind of destiny. Is the destiny of your characters an afterlife of some kind? What does that life look like? And how does that afterlife invade the present life of the characters? Do they know about it? Do they not know about it? Where is the world going is also not just about the character's destiny, but the world's destiny. Is the world going to end in Armageddon? How is the world supposed to end? Because all things come to an end. Period. All things come to an end. So how is the world supposed to end? And now, you as the story writer and as the author may never actually get to the end of your world, but you need to have an idea of how the world is supposed to end. Here is the bonus at the end. Your worldview that you use to build the world doesn't have to be the worldview that your characters take. Because the second thing, I first talked about ontology, this is epistemology. Epistemology is the study of how we know things. Guess what? The likelihood that your characters know everything about your world is zero. If they do, you have a character who's essentially like a godlike figure. And I mean, Stephen King has done this where he inserts himself into his world in the Dark Tower series, and really don't recommend doing that. When you have worldviews within your world, they will match or not match the reality of the world that you have created in some way. And there are really interesting tensions that we can start to get into when the world that you have created, that you understand as the foundational reality, is different from the foundational reality believed by your characters, or by a portion of society, or by the whole of the society. That is fertile ground for great storytelling. We can use this worldview framework to help us ask the right questions to build complex, interesting worlds that can connect with our characters and our readers. Go forth, tell stories for God's glory. I will see you next time.